Hey there, I'm Lee Ullman here with some big news from the National Young Farmers Coalition. We're partnering with Heritage Radio Network on a special season of The Farm Report. It's all about what's happening with the Farm Bill and how it impacts farmers and eaters.
I am growing diversified vegetables on land that's been in our family for 150 years.
And so with the pandemic, gentrification, property values going up, we had to sell the land and we lost it.
Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind this massive piece of legislation that shapes how we grow our food, what we eat, and so much more.
The problems we have had, those are things that come from earlier Farm Bill and USDA policy, right? Like Earl Butz, get big or get out.
You know, it's my responsibility to know not only what I'm eating, but then like how that all came to be. And realize like, wow, like this piece of legislation, all this money, like it's technically something that I support as a taxpayer.
While Congress debates the next Farm Bill, this is not just an invitation to listen. It's a call to action. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to the Farm Report on Heritage Radio Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.
This episode has been brought to you by Worldwide Soba, a Japanese noodle production company.
This week on Meat and Three, we get ready for Super Tuesday by looking at how food shapes elections both at home and abroad.
People know that you don't order a Philly cheesesteak with Swiss cheese, as John Kerry did back in the 2004 cycle.
A young group of friends decided that they would put up a website which told voters which polling booths had sausages.
Prime Minister David Cameron was pictured about a week after this incident eating a hot dog in a bun with a knife and fork because he was so afraid.
Tune in to Meat and Three, HRN's weekly food news roundup wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hello and welcome to Snacky Tunes. I am one half your host, Darren Bresnitz. This week we are in the Go Get 'em Tiger Clubhouse, aka their new commissary, sitting down with Kyle and Charles, who have spent their entire adult life in the pursuit of the perfect cup of coffee. We take a look back at the start of their business, how they grew it, what they learned in the past, and they share some really intimate insights about what it means to be in business for yourself and how to learn from the mistakes you made and be happy with the success that you find. Then we go deep into the archives to one of our earliest shows and we play a special performance from Baths, who is one of our favorite performers and have been back a couple of times over the years. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Snacky Tunes here on heritageradionetwork.org.
We talk about food, we talk about music, with musical dudes, finger on the pulse, Snacky Tunes.
I talk nicely to them and try and get them to come closer. animal language, really.
Hello and welcome to Snacky Tunes. I am one half your host, Darren Bresnitz. We are deep in Vernon? Edge of Vernon?
Yeah. Vernon. Huntington Park is right there, so I guess we're deep. Yeah.
How often are you going to El Russo these days?
Oh, I will go every day if I don't limit myself. But it's too popular now, so we're kind of out.
Yeah, but on a Tuesday at 9:30?
It's still slammed. It's amazing.
Okay. Well, we are...
I love, that is the best food thing that happened last year.
Oh, yeah. Hands down.
Yeah.
We are with Charles Babinski, Chief Product Officer, and Kyle Glanville, co-founder of Go Get 'Em Tiger in the... Can we call it a clubhouse?
Yeah, we're in the clubhouse.
Clubhouse warehouse? Yeah. I feel like people who are going to come and be like, oh, it's your clubhouse, you're like, just stay away. We'll invite you for the opening party. And the people are like, the warehouse, okay, come here to work.
Yeah, you could be here.
So it's pretty amazing to be sitting in a giant warehouse of what essentially started as a coffee shop pop-up.
Yeah.
And I want to go back, not to the very beginning, but sort of when you were getting started, when you were thinking after the pop-up of the coffee shop, what was the plan? Was the plan to do one artisanal, just it is an icon beacon coffee shop, or were you going for what you have now, which is the multiple locations?
Yeah, I mean, I think, plans shift over time, and there's been a trajectory for our plans. I think when we were very, day one talking about doing this business, it was let's build a coffee shop. And we had the sort of benefit of coming from intelligentsia, where we saw that one single location could be a great business that, fed your family and took care of the bills and made you feel good. And then, we started the pop-up, and I personally went into that pop-up pretty arrogant, I guess, pre-knowledge.
One thought of the arrogance.
I just thought that everybody would be there.
Oh, sure.
I just thought people would write about us and everybody would show up. And remember, this is 2012, right?
Sure.
So this is still kind of before the sort of aggressive spread of fancy looking coffee shops.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we felt like we were doing something really different. We were new to the market, and we would be slammed. But we opened those doors at Squirrel on October 4th, 2012. And it was a lot of thumb twiddling for a while. And so, whatever our ambitions were going into that, it kind of became survival mode almost immediately. Whatever savings I had, which was modest, gone. And,
really?
Oh, yeah, quickly.
How quickly into starting a business did you feel that you're okay, every penny I have is going into it? And then what does that actually look like? Are you being we're making ham sandwiches, or we're eating leftover croissants?
Yeah, we definitely ate whatever scraps we could, leftover pastries.
Sure.
Luckily we started alongside Jessica, and so there was food around.
Yeah. What'd you do with that rice bowl, right?
Yeah. Oh God, it went missing.
Yeah.
And it was just Charles and I think we were pretty terrified to hire anybody for a long time, because that's just an enormous responsibility to cover that paycheck.
Yeah.
And I think the coffee was bringing in $300 a day, and there's all the costs come out of that, and there's like a few pennies to rub it together maybe at the end of that. I mean, for us, really not.
Yeah.
And so it was really terrifying. And so I think maybe right before we opened the pop-up, we're like, we're going to do 100 of these in California. Like, we're just going to be the preeminent boutique coffee company in California. There's like all this opportunity, and, you know, we're like weird and have ideas. And then, you know, a couple weeks into operating in Squirrel, we're like, holy shit, like our only plan is just to not die. And, you know, and it felt like that for a while. And even when the Jonathan Gold thing sort of, he shined his light on Squirrel, and, you know, we saw like Jessica explode, and, you know, we were still, you know, I think our best day ever was like $1,000.
Yeah. That's a big day though.
Yeah.
In the moment.
Yeah, I mean, not really. Not, you know, not.
I mean, we came
at
from
that point,
we came from Intelligentsia.
Sure.
And like the Silver Lake shop would do like a $12,000 Saturday. You know.
Let me just ask for that frame of mind, though. I mean, you're comparing yourselves to what was arguably one of the most established national coffee brands that had even had awareness on the East Coast. When did you either stop comparing yourself to them to be like, to measure your own success, and then start thinking like, okay, like we're not gonna have to eat leftover, you know, pastries and croissants? Was there a moment?
No, I mean, it came a lot later. I mean, realistically, for the first couple of years, I lived off of tips, and there was like a long period of time where the majority of my calories came from Tacos Tomas in Grand Central Market.
Sure.
Where a $3 taco the size of your hand would more or less feed you for half a day.
Size of your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, like $1,000, like it can feel like a lot, but coffee shops are built for volume. And everything, like you can serve 1,000 people off of one espresso machine, you know, with 4 people, or you could serve 100 people off of one espresso machine with 4 people. And it really is, you know, like you're not really cooking until you get to that higher and higher volume.
So I want to jump forward a little bit of when you finally opened up the first location. When did it feel that you had established the brand and you could start thinking about expansion?
I think we got a really nice piece of press from the New York Times in June of 2014. And we had already opened 2 locations, because we opened G&B at Grand Central Market and Go Get 'Em Tiger on Larchmont.
Sure, but you
within
had
a month of each other.
But at some point you had to pick a lane.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right? Like you didn't like Go Get 'Em Tiger is the one that's
Yeah, we always had this notion. So the Go Get 'Em Tiger thing kind of fell into our lap. Not the name of it, but that location and that opportunity. And so when we started this other brand, there was intention behind that. It was like, and our original intention was basically like really good coffee is so much about technique and service, and a little bit also about like only buying like the upper echelon of ingredients. But if we could like maybe like scale back on our input costs and do something that actually like hits people a little bit in the middle, like we could create, you know, the first like actually truly sort of mainstream third wave coffee thing. Mm-hmm. Now, what actually happened is we don't have it in us when we know that there's a better product to buy the cheaper product. It's just not, it's like not in our DNA.
Yeah.
So we had Go Get 'Em Tiger on Larchmont, we had G&B at Grand Central Market, and they were essentially the same thing. G&B had like a little bit more experimentation going on. Go Get 'Em Tiger ended up having food, and then that kind of scaled up for us. But in the early days, they were kind of the same thing. But the original thought was like, G&B is named after us. It's Glanville and Babinski. And like, we're not going to like make this national presence with our name, with like, that's just not, that's weird. And so,
right. Especially when people are like, so what, tell me about the name. You're like, well, it's about us.
Yes. The name is our names.
The names are our names.
Yeah. The actual company name is Glanville and Babinski, which sounds like a law firm.
Yeah.
Like, are you injured?
Yeah.
DUI?
Do you want some coffee?
Yeah. So Go Get 'Em Tiger, you know, we thought like that was like a really memorable name, mm-hmm. and like the concept behind it was really memorable. And we did like lots of like airy space and bright colors, and like we wanted to make it like, I think, fun and like really palatable to a wider audience. And so that's always been the one where we've been like, if we're going to grow something, that's what it's going to be. But in truth, the first year of both those locations, running them simultaneously, like we like ran ourselves into the ground. Yeah. Like we 7 days a week, literally 16 to 18 hours a day, open one shop, midday, flip sides, and close the other shop.
Wow.
And we didn't have managers, we didn't have like other leadership in our store. So like bill paying, we couldn't afford a bookkeeper. So bill paying, payroll, like all that stuff was in our purview, and it was gnarly, like really gnarly.
Is there advice that you would share to people who are just getting started and having multiple locations of any food-driven or coffee-driven business, that parts or places where you sacrificed or felt the strain that looking back now maybe you didn't have to?
We just didn't get enough money. I think that was a big thing. We overestimated how much we would have to. We underestimated how much we would have to build the loyalty with the customers. We overestimated how hype driven coffee can be. It's a ritual. It's a daily thing. It's medicine for a lot of people. It's not like a hype driven business. And so I think we underestimated how long the work of like getting loyal customers was going to be. I think if we were to do it again, we would start with more cash. We would maybe be a little more aggressive about getting cash.
Yeah, we started at the moment we didn't really.
I've heard about this money thing, and the importance of business.
Yeah. Well, we started with basically no cash, and
right. Would you have recommended like taking out a low interest loan, or would you have just gone to friends and family and been like, hey, we need a couple thousand?
We did that.
Right.
we got what we could out of friends.
We got $39,000, which got us some equipment.
And realistically, we didn't have access to a whole lot of money and a whole lot of opportunities, and we took advantage of what we did. It's funny to think going back, because we didn't know. If we had more cash, we might not even have used it in the most sensible way. And one of the advantages of being a small company, like what Kyle was talking about earlier, about one of us opens one shop, the other opens the other, you switch in the middle of the day. At the very least, you can put everything on your backs and kind of carry it where it needs to go.
Yeah.
That is the value of a small company. So
you can let your team go and just work it yourself,
Yeah.
And there were moments we had some really good key staff that we had hired sort of in a fit of optimism, that we were like, look, you're everybody in town will want you to work for them, and we can't afford you. And so,
that's a tough day.
Ooh, yeah.
Did you bring any of those people back when you finally were able to hire people?
No, actually, the biggest one I can think of is Percy, who, Percy Ramirez, who's living in San Francisco now, and if I were to run a draft lottery board of
coffee draft,
he would be number 1 or number 2 for me.
Would he get a jersey? Would he get a go get him jersey?
We've designed a go get him jersey. We just haven't pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so I think the thing that I would say about anybody going into it, and I really believe, if I had known then what I know now, I just wouldn't have the guts to do it.
There is some of that.
You have to be blind
perseverance.
Yeah.
And then you come to one day and you go okay, this is viable.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and talk about the viability and the opening of the second, but first of many additional locations of Go Get 'Em Tiger. We have a song for the archives here on Snacky Tunes on heritageradionetwork.org.
Don't you tell them what to do. Just sit yourself down and don't do these things to you. Sit yourself down, never between us. How you see right through that hard pride. That pride you got means everything to you. you on the knuckle, baby. Look me dead in the eye. Watch you see it right through me too. Tambo solo. You're so good. He don't cry. You find somebody else that will keep all your actions you're doing justified. We're gonna destroy this room, right, Andy? Ready? Okay. Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to Snacky Tunes. We're with Kyle and Charles of Go Get 'em Tiger, and a big shout out to Erica for bringing the coffee to get us through the second part. So I want to talk about that moment when you decided that you were viable enough to launch a second location to Go Get 'em Tiger, knowing that you had just dealt with two locations and you couldn't do probably like multiple swapping all the time going into opening a new location. So what was that moment? When did you finally feel that you had hit enough of a least of a threshold?
I think the precursor to that moment was definitely the press in the New York Times. I cannot really express enough how much that changed our world.
The New York Times.
It's the New York Times. I mean, we kind of should have known. I was like, just to give a little like bit of background, I remember like one time before that, the New York Times like sneezed our name on like the back pages of some like roundup like that mentioned Grand Central Market, and we saw an uptick in business.
Huh.
And we were like, and like the LA Times could put us, and no offense to LA Times, but like unless it was Jonathan Gold, like they could put us like on the front page and nobody give a shit. But like New York Times like just like whispers you, and it's like a huge sea change. The other one is Westways. It's like incredible.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out to Westways.
Shout out to Westways. So that like that article, just to put it into perspective, came out digitally on a Wednesday afternoon at like 1 p.m. and by 3 o'clock we were fucking sandbagged. Like we were inundated with customers in a way that we had never been before, and we stood in the same place for basically 2 straight weeks, serving people who had heard that we had the best iced latte in America.
Interesting.
And it doubled our sales overnight.
Now, you previously talked about the hype versus ritual of coffiness. Does that taper off after a while?
It's definitely ephemeral. Like, but like it gave us the exposure to people. I mean, getting that first handshake, getting that first opportunity to serve somebody is like that's the opportunity you need. Like, and then you have to prove it, and you have to convince somebody to come back.
Yeah. And especially when people are looking for their cup of coffee to define who they are.
Yeah.
Like, I am fill in the blank, this type of person who drinks this coffee. These are my people, and now this is my hat of the coffee shop I go to.
I think what the New York Times thing did, though, is it gave people who weren't interested in sort of higher end coffee permission to try this thing out.
Sure, especially when there's so many options and you love coffee, or at least you love the idea of going to a coffee shop. Sometimes you just need to be told where to go.
Yeah.
And when
that's how we all are, like at restaurants and stuff, right? Like somebody says like All Day Baby is good, and you're like, great, like I can go to All Day Baby.
And they are.
Yes.
Yes. So when you opened up the second Go Get 'em Tiger location, were there similar issues, new issues?
New issues.
What were some of the new issues of opening up a second location then?
Well, so that one we were seeing the success of our food, and so we really wanted to like punch that up.
Yeah.
So we hired like a real chef, Rhea Dolly, who we worked with at Squirrel, and we put in all the infrastructure, the hood, the grease interceptor. Like, it was no longer like a few hot plates and a waffle iron.
Fair.
And people were hyped about Ria's food. We had kind of like broadcast that this was going to be a really, really special thing. And we definitely were feeling that. Like, we weren't just going to do the same thing that we had done before. We were going to do something that like was a little bit more punched up. And we did a private preview. I remember like right before our opening day, invite only. We invited 100 people. Somebody put it on Instagram, and we just got slammed before we were ready to serve anybody. And our whole opening first couple of weeks was just pandemonium.
Just going down in the weeds.
Yeah.
Every day.
The new problem was that we like weren't ready for it. And so we fucked it up.
And did it affect coffee service as well?
Oh yeah, because people are getting food and coffee. So,
sure.
I mean, like if you get your coffee right away and you get your food 30 minutes later,
or an hour later,
the food and the coffee service is like.
I can already tell you what my visceral reaction to that is.
Oh,
and I am, first off, I'm not planning for an hour.
Right.
I'm planning to get like my biscuit and my coffee in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm out in 30, if that.
People were pissed. We had like 3 stars on Yelp, which like just doesn't happen. And like, you know, it was.
How did you adjust? And let me ask, what sort of mental jiu-jitsu did you have to do to be okay with going through that rough time?
Well, there's no silver bullet, right?
Yeah, you just go through it. Like that's the thing about like falling into the shit is that you're in the shit. Like there's nothing you can do. You just have to work your way out of it. And I think a lot of it came down to like figuring out what our specific approach to food was and what it meant for us, not just from a menu perspective, but from being an employer perspective, how our food program should run. So it was a gradual, like we worked out the biggest kinks immediately, but I'd say that it took us a couple of years to really get to a point where we felt like we were building, off of sort of our positive wins.
And this is pretty heartbreaking for us, right? Because what I had just talked about was getting that first handshake.
Sure.
How important that was, and we had it. We had the first handshake. People showed up.
Right.
And we fucked it up.
Right, because some people go like, I'd love to go there, but I don't want to wait for an hour for my food. Let's go somewhere else. And then they go, oh, I like this place enough, and my food comes in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So how do you build that trust back?
I mean, it's a really, really long process, and you just have to nail it. Like you just have to fine tune your operations. You know, for us, like we had things on the menu that we knew had to sit in the oven for 20 minutes. And you have the prep that comes before that, the 20 minutes that it sits in the oven, plus, plating it and getting it out. And, suddenly it's 35 minutes.
Sure.
When we were first starting, right, it was just the two of us, and something didn't work. We would just look at each other in the middle of a busy service and say, this is going.
Go. 86. Get out of here.
You add in, like, basically you're giving the keys to the kingdom to somebody else as far as the food program goes. You're becoming a larger organization. You have 3 shops, 4 shops, 5 shops instead of 2 shops. Making those decisions goes from being really, really, really easy to being really, really, really hard.
You have to socialize it and,
Yeah.
Right, because someone's like, I love the peach muffin.
Well, you also don't want, like as employers, it's our job to empower people to feel like they can do their best work and bring themselves to it. And it is defeating to get your thing 86.
Of course. 100%. So a few years go by, you figure out the kinks. When does the idea of wider spread expansion start to take place, and how do you put that into action?
Yeah, so it took us a long time, but we had finally, after 4 years in business, we had 3 locations that were operating like really, really well. Like they were well-oiled machines. All 3 of them were busy. We managed to eke out a profit. And
fantastic.
Hey, good for us.
Yeah.
We managed to eke out a profit, and I think we've always been very project-oriented people, and so I think for us, the narrative is less about world domination and more about like let's do new stuff. Like
Sure.
we want to do new things. It's like if you're a band, like each of these cafes is like an album, right? And so it's not like we're just like throwing the same DNA into the building and saying like that's it. Each one is a new release for us, and there's a new idea or 10 new ideas or 100 new ideas baked into each one, and like it just like hanging out and operating is that's just not who we are.
Sure. And so every new location is going to allow for something different.
Hell yeah.
But then how do you balance that with the core identity, where if I'm in a different part of town and I see one of your shops, I'm like, okay, I want to be able to have a similar experience across town.
Well, the core menu is the same.
Sure.
Right? But there's like extra menu items. There's like, some of the things that might be different. Sorry for the truck sound.
All good. We're in Vernon. It
We're in
happens.
Vernon. People are trucking.
Yeah.
The difference might be the music center where we did like the hi-fi thing with
Sure.
Dub Lab, right? And that's really cool because we get to play records all day, and we love playing records all day. Or the Cinerama thing, which is like more pared back and like fun stuff to take into the movie theater. And so, but it's also like if you come in and say, "Give me a cortado," there's your fucking cortado. Like that exists. But we have like, I think the way that we're thinking about it now is like we have this like expanded bin of parts. Now there's like a burger in there and like other, breakfast burrito and
Yep.
whatever. And we can kind of plug different things into different cafes depending on what is important to the people that we're serving there. Like if we were to open at a yoga studio, maybe the burger wouldn't be the thing.
Or it'd be a Beyond Meat burger or
Yeah.
something a little bit different.
Right. And so like, I think it's really important to us, as we scale Go Get 'Em Tiger, to continue to be people's neighborhood cafe. And that means that we take inventory of what matters to people in that community, and we try to reflect the best of that community back at them.
You talked earlier about the handshakes from the New York Times, but now you're getting these handshakes from different communities and community leaders. I know you just mentioned the ArcLight Cinema, but to be in, I would say, the most iconic movie theater in all of LA, what does that mean to you? How does that partnership come about? How do you approach something like that? And, how do you not get in your head about going about setting up a coffee shop in a location like that?
I mean, it's just really, really cool. And this is 5 years, I think, in the making. Like 5 years ago, we, the people who run the ArcLight are customers at Larchmont.
Family business, like passed down through generations.
And they asked about like the possibility of us doing something inside, and we went and we looked around, and we walked by the dome, and it was like, what's up with these box offices? Like, are they being used? And it's like they were just storage. So the idea was like then and there, like let's have a cafe, let's put a bar out front, and that idea sat in the ether for basically 4 years before it ever kind of came to fruition. So more than anything, it's just like an awesome idea that we had half a decade ago that finally gets to happen.
And also like so ArcLight is like father and son basically kind of run things, and they still do like a lot of the on the ground decision making, even though now they're like a national chain of theaters. And it was so easy to have ideas with them, because usually when you're dealing with like a landlord or like some kind of development, right, it's like, well, everything kind of has to like fit into this box.
How much money you're making per square foot, versus what is the rent and blah, blah, blah.
But like for us, at no point when we were thinking about doing this thing at Cinerama were we like, like I don't think we talked about revenue really once until like right before opening. We're like, what do we think we're gonna do here? Like are we gonna make any money here? I don't know. But for us, it was, and the same is true with the music center.
Yeah,
it was completely about the soul of the place, what it means to Angelenos, and how we feel like we want to be that company that shows up for that stuff.
Also, we're going to the farmers market on Sunday. We're going to Amoeba. This is like we're seeing a movie in the Dome. When it's like a Paul Thomas Anderson, like 70mm extravaganza, And
we're
all of that
clubbing on Cahuenga till 4 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. We're hanging out at the Romper Room, the dive bar. Yeah.
And so it's part of your life.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
no.
part of the community. Like you're not some outsider coming in.
Yeah.
And it's a joy. It's like we get to have the thing that we do be a part of that.
Yeah.
And
I hope, like, I do hope that it comes through, like, I think all of our spots, every single shop that we have is like a place that we have like a very close personal relationship with for one reason or another. And what we hope comes through, like, in those locations is like the actual joy that it brings us to be able to do that thing there.
I mean, what does it mean, and what advice would you give to have that patience for those ideas to come to fruition, especially from getting started to even having success and being like, this is a cool project, it's not going to be viable for 5 years?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, like, it just looks that way because all of our like terrible ideas never came to fruition, right? So
sure.
We've had a million ideas over the course of the 7 years that we've been operating, and only a few of them have kind of made their way out. So
is time a good filter?
Time's a good filter. Take a lot of swings. And let ideas live. Don't dismiss stuff out of hand right away. Like the notion, like what we were presented with is like, do you want to be the coffee shop in the corner of the lobby of ArcLight? And it would have been easy to walk into that room and be like, nah.
Right. Be like, no. It's like, yes, we want to work together. Come back, think on that, and then go back and be like, what about this?
Yeah.
And sometimes when you present a different idea, people go like, oh, I never thought about that way.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know it could be that way.
Yeah. Or even the Los Feliz shop, which was an apartment and then a tattoo studio and like off the street, and like you can't park there. Like,
oh yeah, parking over there is...
It's gnarly.
It's
I
gnarly.
totally underestimated the parking snafus. I've also watched people get hit on the street.
Oh yeah.
Although they put in a
they put in the walkway.
Yeah.
But that area is one of my most beloved areas to go eat and drink.
It's
hang out.
amazing now with the Kismet Rotisserie and everything.
And
out there.
Homestay and everything, and it is the worst parking. But that's how much I love it because I'll still go to that area.
Yeah.
So beyond
Uber or Lyft.
Yes.
Yes.
Beyond the physical expansion, you guys also are doing merch. You have a coffee service program. You have brand awareness and brand extensions that don't rely ultimately on a physical store. What has the importance been to that growth, and how is it important to go beyond just a store?
I think you are probably giving us too much credit for how strategic that stuff is.
Hard-hitting questions.
No, I mean it's because it's right now that's about like the soul and the feel, and the way that the merch came about, like the doing like the new merch stuff, was we had this barista working for us who we realized, because we had her do like a few like postcards, like event things, we're like, you're just a fucking really cool artist, and we just want you to make things for us.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And so it wasn't like, well, you know, like we need to like, you know, build our brand through merch, but like immediately, like we did our first like drop, you know, that's what the kids say.
Right. Before now, every restaurant has merch. Because you guys started a little bit before.
Yeah.
I'll give you credit where credit's due on the record.
Yeah, appreciate it. I've got the socks on right now. We when we did the first drop, we had like 200 of everything, and they just like, it was gone.
Yeah.
It was actually gone before people could write about it. And it was
the
like
best problem to have.
Yeah,
with,
so
with merch.
people really like this. I think doing the like limited run thing where it's like so that you can like timestamp people's relationships to the company, and like you're out there representing, and it's like you have one of the original blah 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 shirts or whatever, like that makes people feel good.
Yeah.
And it feels good for us. Like I was just in New York last week, and 3 times in Manhattan I saw somebody wearing a Go Get 'Em Tiger hat.
That's
3 times. What the fuck? I went to Disneyland and I saw people wearing like the coffee hats and the GGT hats at Disneyland. My brother lives in Idaho, and he's like, I ran into another person like wearing it. I don't know how that happens.
I mean, sometimes the hats and the extensions go beyond the physical nature of something.
Yeah.
Because it becomes just something that people like.
Yeah. So I was never a skateboarder.
Yeah.
But I loved the culture of skateboarding and the way that like I love like skateboard fashion. Like I think that like the skaters know things and they are cool. And so we, when this started to happen, it's like we should just operate like a skate company when it comes to like all the merch stuff.
I love it.
Yeah.
So as you look to the future, as we sit in the warehouse/clubhouse, what lessons from the past are you going to take into your future growth?
Ooh, that's really good. I mean, there's like 1,000 of them. I think right now, like the last year for us has been a lot about learning how to manage and uplift and motivate a team to carry on your vision, learning how to communicate that vision really well. Charles, for instance, has like really come into his own as like a person who can like actually set very clear goals for groups of people to achieve. And I've maybe come into my own as like a little bit more of
Charles,
a, like,
anytime you want to tell me how I've come into my own.
Yeah. Go ahead. That's your cue, Charles. No. I mean, but like, and I've felt a little bit more free to just be like what's next and like what are we doing next?
Little time to dream.
Yeah, like this last store that we opened, like I showed up in the last week, and like they did the things that we talked about doing, which was amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So lessons that we've learned.
Yeah.
I mean, it just like right now our world, owning a business has been just relentlessly learning lessons and never getting to not learn lessons. So it's almost like a funny thing to think like that there's like a tipping point at any moment, because the second you move on from one thing, you're into a whole other world. And when, I think we sit down and think about where we were a year ago, we thought we knew a lot and we were fools. And, if you think about where we were 2 years ago, it's the exact same thing. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that both of us are driven towards like constantly evolving this thing that we're putting our lives into. So it's kind of the nature of what we do, the craft, and what we're passionate about. But I think that's just what being an owner of a company is. And at a certain point, I think it went from being like, the challenges of like, oh, we're just getting started, like we have to just work these 20-hour days or these 18-hour days, to, oh my God, we have to figure out how to manage people, to, the next 20 years of our lives is just going to be learning things. And getting to like, I think right now what it feels like is we're starting to feel comfortable riding those waves, and we're starting to feel comfortable with all of the changes. And that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I think like the thing that we've always known how to do is fail a lot. And what we've gotten better at is failing quickly, and moving on. And so like people don't like, even like our most regular customers, like you could catalog, like all the dumb shit that we've done or like all the new stuff that we've rolled out that hasn't worked or whatever. But like what we've gotten good at is just like recognizing like, okay, this doesn't stick, like move on.
Great. And that's something that we were good at when we were a small business.
Yeah.
Like when it was just us, like I said, like we would make those decisions really quick. It was that transition to being, somebody who's like teaching people who are in the positions to make the decisions, and setting an institutional standard of assessing our successes and our failures and moving on. That was like a multi-year transition.
Amazing. Well, I want to thank you guys so much. Congrats.
Thank you.
If people want to check out all the goings-ons, where can they go?
They can go to our shops. I mean, if you go to our website, ggt.com, you can see where all of our locations are. We have a good Instagram feed. We have a mailing list. You should join.
Sweet.
And drink good coffee. Either have it with us or support another good coffee shop locally.
Wonderful. Well, thank you guys. We have another song from the archives and then a live performance here on Snacky Tunes on heritageradionetwork.org.
This episode has been brought to you by Worldwide Soba, a Japanese noodle production company. Founded by Shuichi Kotani, Worldwide Soba offers noodle consulting services in addition to supplying a variety of tools for wannabe noodle makers. Want to take a class? Worldwide Soba has it. Need a traditional Japanese soba knife? Worldwide Soba has that too. To learn more, visit worldwide-soba.com.
I don't know if I've ever heard such like a driving vocal performance from Anthony, that they're always like off into space, some ethereal thing. But that is a Who Might Feel So Free. It's a men's song featuring Anthony, and then before that was Matt Pompier. Summer is Coming, because it is. I'd like to, as it is a fact.
It's a fact. Guess what's also coming? Winter, fall, all that stuff.
I know, but we're already in winter. We'd like to welcome to the show Baths.
Hey.
How can we refer to you in the show? Though, if I have to
I'm Will.
Will. Okay,
that's fine.
I'm going to embarrass you for like 2 seconds.
That's fine.
Our good friend Shelly, who's been on the show before.
Hello.
She said during CMJ, she's like, you got to come see this band with me, Bass. And I said, okay. And then I saw you like 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So now I'm going to stab
fan
you.
out.
Yeah. Now
right.
this is the best stalker way. It's like, come on, radio show.
Let me ask the hard hitting question first. Which do you prefer more, showers or baths?
It depends on the situation.
That is actually the correct answer.
That's the correct answer. That is the correct answer.
If for those of you who have not seen your setup, it's a MPC player.
Yeah, it's an MPD thing. The thing itself is pretty empty. All the stuff is in the computer, and then attach that to the computer, and then I'm singing along with it. But it's like I have to sing and be really there and in the room and like active and stuff. So
yeah, as a laptop DJ and knowing what I'm actually what I'm doing for actually, like, you are incredibly involved. It's a nice setup with some lights and a little blanket, or I don't know, a tablecloth.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, you are really like you're in it and you're tweaking knobs, and I don't and I watched, because the first time I was like, all right, guy.
Yeah.
With your knob tweaking, and then by the third time I was like, all right, guy, with that knob tweaking. This is pretty amazing, and it looks very involved, and I definitely think that like if like, you know, outside of the voice, like if you weren't up there, that those noises would not be made. So how long did it take to perfect that show, because you were so involved in that show?
Well, it's a game. It's constant. It's not, I don't even think it's perfected at this point, but it's like it's gotten to a point where I'm very comfortable with it. I'm doing fairly simple things. Like, I have all the songs that I'm performing split up into 4 sections, and I'm affecting them as I go, and sort of like changing the rhythms and dropping things out so that they're more affecting when the vocals come in, all that type of stuff. Like, I'm doing a lot of it on the fly. A lot of it is improvisation, but it's like...
So every show's different?
Yes, every show's always different.
It really was like one of my favorite things, and also kind of inspiring, because we write music, and I was like, hey, I just saw this guy who did this thing. Is obviously very like one-man show, electronic based, but it definitely looks like he didn't get up yesterday. It was like, I'm gonna perform a show.
That's the best thing, is like after I perform, if somebody's like, yo man, whose music was that? That was so cool. Like, they think I was DJing somebody else. It's like, God.
Do you have any thoughts to expand your live show to more than just you?
Absolutely. That's the whole plan. That's the whole goal, is that this is where it is right now because I'm by myself. This record was built completely me on my own, and that's the sound of it, and that's the performance that I wanted. But that's specifically this album. The next album that I'm working towards, and what I've done in the past, is with a large band setup. Like, for one of my older projects, I had like a cellist, a bassist.
Cool. And you have a side project that's performing tomorrow night at Glasslands?
Yeah, I'm writing the set today and tomorrow before the show.
So. What's the name of that
Geotic.
We're not here to talk about Geotic. We're here to talk about Bath.
Yeah.
Hard-hitting question. Ready?
Yes.
What would you like to be served in a bath? Like, what would be the ideal meal?
Oh man.
No, that's a real thing. That's like a gummo type of question.
Like peppermint water and gum. Like cleansing things, like a lot of tea, maybe.
Not like a steak?
No, absolutely not like food.
Really? Because I went like, I would like a steak with like some French fries in a bat.
What if you drop it though? Then so everything gross. Is over. Everything is ruined.
Let me put it this way: if I'm at the level where I'm getting dinner served to me in the steak, I have already solved the how to not drop food.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think you have to be that well off to get a dinner in a bathtub.
I have eaten a bowl of hot spicy chili in the bath.
That actually color commentary now taken over by Alan.
A hot, rich meal inside a bath. I'm with you. Something effervescent, something like light. And
yes, absolutely. Like one of those whipped desserts that taste like clouds. Whatever. I forget what it is.
A nice big ball of cotton candy in the bath.
No, I don't know. I can't. I'm terrible with food. I don't know.
What do you eat on the road? What do you normally? What's your go-to?
I can't admit it. on
Come
the
on.
show.
You can't. No,
Basically, like this store, I've been having a lot of the McDonald's oatmeal that they introduced because it's like healthy, very fast. And
with
it's
the
like,
Vermont maple syrup, which actually has to come from Vermont.
Yes.
And have you had any
It's
of the
dope. Yeah, you
Zagat
can't-
#1 rated KFC chicken?
No, I have not. Is that true?
Yeah. No, dude. We did research on it because like KFC now has all these ads like Zagat #1 rated, but they did like a fast food survey. So it's like, all right, so of the worst, this is the best.
Wow.
Yeah. So congrats.
Yeah,
Congrats.
congrats to them.
We'll be having the Colonel on next week to talk about the big win. Yeah. Oh, he's what? He's so never mind. You know, it's great. You've been. How long has the Baths project been active?
Since September of 2009.
Okay.
Exactly.
So not that. So a year and some change.
Yeah, it was basically like I saw one show specifically in Los Angeles where a lot of the big sort of electronic music players in LA, like Daedalus, Flying Lotus, No Such Thing, Toki Monster, all these people played, and I had that full band setup that I was talking about at the time. But I saw that, and I desperately wanted to be able to pull a show off by myself in a similar fashion. And it was literally that day I said to my friend Mario, I was like, I want to do that. I want that. And then I built the album over the next couple of months to fit that performance, that type of thing, and then everything started happening from
What programs do you write in?
I used to use Digital Performer a lot, but now I use a mix between Digital Performer and Ableton because Digital Performer is sort of archaic.
Got it.
Yeah.
That was for our techies. Let's get some music going. I was like, I got a few more questions. I really do.
I know, but we can come back.
But I was one question because just one thing.
Why are you taking your pants off?
Yeah, that's actually more just a fact. It happens. So you've been around for like say a year and a half. I feel like from CMJ on, you've really begun to hit. You're like in the cusp. You have sold out shows. So like, how are you feeling the difference now, changing from just like hi, I'm Bass to being like people's perception of you?
I have no idea. It's like things are happening so fast that I don't really keep track of it. I'm just I just keep saying hi.
That's Lior's job, the press agent who's here.
He's the one who's far more aware of my life like that than I am. So.
Great. So you picked out some songs to play.
So now we're ready?
Now we're ready.
Okay.
I had a question.
Okay.
It was pressing. Now we're gonna press play on the songs that you selected. Any type of theme that we should know about?
No, it was literally like I grabbed it and chose the first things that came to mind.
Oh, you have to. Oh, this is great.
Oh, on the
I love
fly.
the books.
Oh, cool.
So we're gonna open up with one of your songs.
Okay.
Well, that's what you put first.
What song is it called?
Somerset.
Yes. Okay.
It is yours, right?
It's on, yes. It's on something I'm selling on tour, exclusive to the tour. So.
Okay, so we'll talk about it afterwards. This is we're gonna keep eating. There's so much pizza and
So
cookies.
much pizza and
Put
cookies.
pizza and cookies here. You're listening to a Bath's hand selected on the fly playlist on Snacky Tunes. And that was just a playlist put together by Will, aka Bats, as we all put ourselves into pizza and cookie-induced comas. Yeah, we really never. I have to tell you guys, like, we really never eat this much food. Are you serious? Yeah. And I would like to tell you that every week we eat this much food. All right, we normally don't have cookies, which are delicious. Yeah. Yes. Oh, what do we say about phones? So close. No. I'm trying to be a jerk about it. Trying to be a jerk. It's not even working. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Is Heritage. Is it important?
Not really.
So whoever is calling at 2:58, Alan, it's record on the podcast. Yeah. Not that important. Not that important.
I was trying. I mean, it's more important than either of you two guys. But then
hey, we're like, thank everybody coming snacking. So we'll talk to us about some of that music.
Oh, okay.
How it inspires you as an artist.
I can't even remember what songs did we do. We started off with the books one.
Yeah, but you don't think it was on shuffle, so I don't even think we went in order.
Okay, well, I know for like, if it's a cool point, the books, one of the best shows that I've ever seen in my life was seeing the books at the Getty Museum in LA, which was a total
pretty
surprise.
Amazing.
It was before I had fully dove into them and everything, and I saw it, and they said themselves at the show that it was one of their favorite shows and favorite venues. That
it's really nice when you can. Really it's funny because I saw the books here, and they said it was one of their favorite. I think it's really nice when you can see a band and you can tell that they're having a great time.
That's
so many times you see a band and you're like, that was great, and they're like, oh, we played like crap.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Well, keep it to yourself, man.
Yeah, exactly.
When I saw you the 3 times, and this is where it gets really creepy and fanny.
Go.
You really did look like each time was like you were having the best time, and not only that, you were incredibly appreciative of the crowd.
Yeah.
And like so happy that they were with you every minute, and that's why I told Darren, I was like, hey, you got to come see this guy with me because it's one of like. I mean, I feel like I've seen so much music, and for CMJ, you just become like so numb to it. So
yeah,
I saw you Brooklyn Bowl.
Oh, cool.
I was 10 sheets to the wind. I had a blast. Did you wait? I was like, yeah. Did you? Did they take care? They took care of your Brooklyn Bowl. They're like one of the best. What did you eat when you were there? Do you remember?
God,
fried chicken.
So just whatever it was, I had too much. I remember that.
Yeah, they really. It's like that. Actually, it's also the correct answer for Brooklyn Bowl. It's also like okay, I want all this food, but it's tricky because do you eat it before and then it's like I just had
that's the thing
rings, or do you wait till after?
In life, I don't eat 4 hours before a show so that I'm completely empty.
That's the magic. Clear. That's the magic number. Most people put it between 3 and 4 hours before they play a show. They don't eat. Yeah. I will be eating wings at like 10 minutes up to it, and I'll be like, I do not feel good about jumping around.
Dude, I'm yelling so much that it's like if there's anything in my system, it's like the whole time. It's horrible.
And we're gonna leave you with that quote. No, just kidding. So what can people expect coming up from the world of bats? Marble, granite, porcelain. What are we talking?
So many releases this year. A 7-inch I have coming up, and then stuff I'm selling on tour, and then the new album is probably 2012. I haven't started working on it yet.
2012.
So.
Yeah. That
not
happens.
This year. Not this year.
We're already
tomorrow,
dude. In the press world, Leo, come on, back in the press. Yeah, it's like
before the world ends.
2015 over here.
Yeah, it's 2015. So you remember when like bands used to put out like a new album every 4 months?
Yeah. We just woke up this morning and Pitchfork apparently announced that Radiohead has a new album coming out in a week.
Coming out this weekend.
This weekend.
And a new Radiohead.
Talking about
when was their last album though?
See, I love that.
A week ago.
They don't need hype. Come on.
No, dude. If you're them, they don't need hype.
If you're Radiohead.
I wonder if it'll do well.
That's sort of the game.
Yeah.
They played a game on the last one, and they're playing a game on this one by having a 1 week press campaign, and that's it.
Are they playing the same game about Pay What You Want for this one?
No. They're not, but they're calling it a newspaper. I don't know.
They're calling it a what?
A newspaper album. I just read the article.
What does that mean?
10 minutes ago.
Oh, did they?
I think it's something like they're giving it away on a newspaper, or like in a newspaper, and then
Well,
they're
like the
going to
Times?
be repackaging it. I heard something about repackaging in May. I don't know the
I
details,
don't know.
but like they're doing like a full thing down the road.
Hey, the second it goes digital,
that's what's happening. Is it's going to be digital in a week?
Yeah,
or
right.
weekend. So.
All right. So the show this Wednesday is sold out. And awesome. So
Dear
that's
listeners,
great.
thank you for listening.
But
You can't go.
if you want to be ahead of the curve, you can come see your side project tomorrow at Glasslands.
Yes, I'm writing an entire set tonight and tomorrow.
What do you mean you're writing an entire
like from scratch? I'm making a set.
But you put you original music for that.
That's what I mean. It's like I'm writing original.
In comedy, this would be referring to as the new hour. You're writing your new hour.
I guess so.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Great. So the last song we're gonna play is a Lollipuna track.
Yes.
Wait. Hold on. Yeah. Nuts and bolts. Where do we find you on the internet? Oh yeah. Do you want Leo to do this?
Well, every single social networking website, it's /Baths Music. BATHSMUSIC.
Leora, anything you want to add? I mean, this is your chance, man.
I really got nothing over here. I don't know how I got roped into this, but
hey, remember, every time you sign that check, it's the I got nothing. Yeah, I got nothing. Oh yeah, how did we do last time, Mr. I got nothing?
Can we go back to food?
Yeah. Hold on. What is your favorite thing to eat when you get off stage?
Oh, Thai iced tea. That's not
fine. That is also a correct answer.
Okay.
That's a correct answer.
Hey, just to let you know that you batted 1,000 today.
Yeah, you answered everything correctly.
So let's thank you, Jack Inslee. Thank you, Heritage Network. We got a big announcement coming. Is it next week? Is there
Something like that. Alan,
great.
Yes.
And
I was good.
I forgot to ask. Who's putting the book out?
We are debating between publishers at the moment.
Awesome.
That is also the correct answer. Everyone does so
great
well.
answers.
Yeah, everyone
We did
does so
so
well
good.
at the show. And we did pretty well. There's just a couple bites left of pizza. And
Can we
a few
thank
cookies.
Heritage for the rack of ribs they gave us?
Oh yeah, Heritage. We had a meeting with the head of
Patrick.
Heritage, Patrick, and he said, "You guys want to take anything?" And because you guys don't know, but Heritage background is it's a food company.
They give us 2 sacks of stew meat, a ham hock, and some ribs.
Yeah. What is your radio station done for you? So it's going to be a wonderful dinner.
A porky spring.
Yeah.
Next week, super excited. Alan, you're a good buddy, Jordana Rothman.
Jordana Rothman.
Oh, yeah. Jordana Rothman. So for all those who don't
I just
know,
had dinner with her at Goat Town in the East Village, which we can not recommend.
And guess what? I love it because
Goat Town feels that is the incorrect answer.
I really love talking to Jordana about food. Her wit and her remarks are always they make me titter.
Jordana was my assistant.
Oh,
when I
really?
put out the Festivus book. Yeah, Jordana helped me make Festivus nails, Festivus shrimp impaled on mini Festivus poles.
Her wit is her wit is from a different era, and I love it.
But just so you know, for any of you Snacky Tune listeners and podcast fans, Jordana was on a year ago predicting food trends of
She was on twice. You have to remember. So there was one where she was on by herself, and one with Mark Pastor. The one where she was on by herself, she did a prediction of 2010.
And so this is the year after follow-up, which I am surprised it's been a year. So if between now and then, if you want to go to our podcast, Snacky Tunes, and look for Jordana Rothman to brush up on it, as we will as well. And then we will just have an hour-long food special next week for predictions of 2011, even though
No music, right?
No music.
Just food. We're going to talk.
Food.
Jordana is worth the hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
All
right. This guy seemed all right, but whatever.
Wow. All right. Phone call not important and a bit of a bum out.
Hold on. No, it's just that there's so much.
Jordana's wonderful, and you guys will have a great show.
Yes, and I want to say this that I've gone back to listen to the show. She got a lot right.
All right. Well, we'll save it. Right. Save it for. We can wait. We waited. Spoiler.
Save it for the sequel.
All right. So here we go. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with Jordana Rothman. This is See the Wood for the Trees bonus track. Bonus track off what?
The new Lolliput album.
Oh, fantastic. Anything, Terry?
That's Bring It On Spring.
never been here. Walk the sleepy street, walk the sleepy street, and come along with me.
We talk about food, we talk about music with musical dudes. Finger on the pulse, snacky tunes.
This program is powered by Simplecast.
Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. For our freshest content and to hear about exclusive events, subscribe to our newsletter. Enter your email at the bottom of our website, heritageradionetwork.org. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at heritage_radio. Heritage Radio Network is a nonprofit organization driving conversations to make the world a better, fairer, more delicious place. And we couldn't do it without support from listeners like you. Want to be a part of the food world's most innovative community? Rate the shows you like, tell your friends, and please join our community by becoming a member. Just click on the beating heart at the top right of our homepage. Thanks for listening.